Anyone who studied homeopathy knows that one name can strike a little bit of fear into your heart: Materia Medica. It feels like this giant mountain of information that's just impossible to conquer. But here's the thing: you don't need to conquer it. You just need a strategy to master it. And in this explainer, we're going to break down 4 proven methods to do exactly that.
Look, if that quote sounds familiar, you are not alone at all. It's a problem pretty much everyone faces. That feeling of memorizing a symptom only to have it vanish by the weekend? Yeah, that's exactly what we're here to fix.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to define the challenge itself. Then, we'll build your essential toolkit, the only things you'll need. After that, we'll learn how to decode the key symptoms hiding in plain sight. We'll move on to some smart study habits before finally getting to the main event, the 4 mastery methods that bring it all together. All right, let's dive right in by putting a name to the problem we're all facing. Section 1, the memory challenge.
The biggest hurdle with Materia Medica is its sheer size. It's huge. You've got countless remedies, thousands of symptoms, and trying to cram all of that for high-stakes exams like the aiapget or UPSC, it feels overwhelming for very good reason. It's not just you, it really is that tough.
But you'd never try to climb a mountain without the right gear, right? Well, that brings us straight to Section 2, building your essential toolkit.
You know, the key isn't to read more books, it's to read the right ones, but smarter. So here's what you do. Start with just 2 core texts, Allen's Keynote and Barrick's Materia Medica. That's your foundation. Then, as you go through old exam papers or MCQ books, anytime you find a symptom that isn't in those 2, you just write it down on a plain A4 sheet of paper. And that A4 sheet, it becomes your own personal, high-yield third source. And just like that, an entire library gets boiled down to just 3 essential tools. That's it.
Okay, so your toolkit is sorted. Now we need to learn how to actually read these books the right way. So in Section 3, we're going to focus on decoding key symptoms.
Here's the secret: you don't need to memorize every single word. Instead, you just have to train your eyes to spot 4 high-value clues in the text. First, look for those powerful one-liners. Next, pay super close attention to semicolons. They're a huge signal that a totally new symptom is starting. Third, notice the bracketed medicines. That's a hint that other remedies share that exact same symptom. And finally, always study the key relations part for things like antidotes and complementary medicines.
And hey, here's a fantastic little pro tip for you, specifically for those bracketed medicines. If you're in an exam and you see an answer choice that says both, and maybe you're not 100% sure, take a chance and pick both. Seriously, more often than not, it turns out to be the right answer. It's a small trick, but it can make a huge difference.
Okay, you've got the tools, you've got the decoding skills, but when are you actually supposed to do all this? How do you fit it into your life? That's what we're covering in Section 4, Smart Study Habits.
It really comes down to one word: consistency. Materia Medica is not a subject you can cram for the night before an exam. It just won't work. The real goal here is to put in 1 to 2 dedicated hours every single day. That slow, steady effort is what really builds knowledge that sticks.
And your timing is absolutely crucial. While you're in your 1st through 4th years of BHMS, your number 1 priority should just be your university exams. Don't even stress about the competitive stuff yet. But the moment you pass that final exam, that's your green light. That's when you pivot and start hammering out those MCQs specifically for your post-grad entrances. And all of this brings us right to the main event, the strategies that pull everything we've talked about together. Section 5, the 4 mastery methods.
If you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, please make it this: you do not need to remember full sentences. Your only goal is to find and then recall the keywords. This little shift in how you think about it, it's the whole secret to unlocking Materia Medica.
Let me show you exactly what I mean. If a question asks for the best antidote for lead poisoning, the answer is petroleum. But if you change just one keyword and ask for the chief antidote, the answer is alumina. See? That one word changes everything.
It can get even smaller than that, like down to a tiny preposition. Like scum on a frog pond points to Mercurius. But like scum off a frog pond, totally different. That's sanguinaria nitrica. That tiny little word is critical. Okay, one more, just to really drive this home. Gloomy forebodings belongs exclusively to phosphorus. But if that keyword changes to evil forebodings, the answer switches to anacardium. You see the pattern here? You find the keyword, you find the answer. It's that simple.
So, how do we put this keyword focus into a real study plan? Well, there are 4 main methods you can use. The alphabetical method is the most straightforward, just going from A to Z. The categorical method is where you group remedies by a topic, like all the headache remedies. The practice-oriented method connects what you're studying to actual patients. And finally, there's the MCQ-oriented method, which is all about working backwards from exam questions.
Let's take a look at that categorical method in action. Say you're studying itching chilblains. Abiratinum is your baseline for that. But if they itch and burn intolerably, you're looking at agaricus. If they happen along with chapped hands, that's petroleum. And if there's aggravation from rubbing, the answer is zincum. This kind of side-by-side comparison really makes those keywords pop.
Now, while all of these methods have their place, the source material is pretty clear that one is the most beneficial for exam prep, and that's the MCQ-oriented method. The process couldn't be simpler. You take a standard MCQ book, and for every single question you solve, you go back to your core books, your Allens or your Borics, and you physically mark that symptom with a colored pen or a highlighter. The absolute beauty of this method is how efficient it is. Think about it. Every time you mark a new symptom from a question, you're actively learning something new. But at the same time, your eyes are scanning over all the previous marks you made for that same remedy. So you're constantly studying and revising, all in one single motion. It's brilliant.
So there you have it. We've built your toolkit, we've decoded the symptoms, and we've unlocked the incredible power of the keyword. The path to actually mastering Materia Medica is laid out right in front of you. So really, there's only one question left, and it's the one that matters most. Which of these powerful methods are you going to try first?